Hey, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Proline. To kick off another big week of college and pro football action, this is the NFL edition of Proline. Jim Feist, you can see him. Jeff Satt is here. I'm Dave Koken. We're going to go over a couple of the best games on the schedule. Jim, you closed the week with a bomber Monday night game of the year. Great call on the San Diego. I had the Chargers, but I didn't have them as big as you did, that's for sure. Monday night game of the year. Chargers take care of business against the Colts. Great spot. And just more of the same for you, what has been a tremendous NFL season.
All the technical, fundamental situations lined up for me, Dave. Thanks for mentioning that. And I'm glad you were on the same side. We both cashed a nice ticket there. 20-12 in the NFL total so far in 2013. That's been remarkable. The Raiders and Chiefs under last week as well. Cashed, of course, with the Monday night game of the year, which, all the spots, you got to look for all the technical things, the statistical things and the fundamentals and everything. But when you see a game and it all matches up, and that one did, the Colts are coming off a couple big games. The big game in Seattle the previous week, a couple weeks earlier, they beat the 49ers. The public's all over them. They're talking Super Bowl. San Diego, who's a team kind of rebuilding under a new coaching staff, but they still have quality athletes, coming off the big loss with Oakland the previous week. This was a showtime game for them. They stepped up. They really did well. They did better in the stats than they did on the scoreboard. 19-9 win, which isn't bad, but they were almost 3-2, too many more yards than the Colts. They just bogged down in the red zone, didn't score as much as they could. But for me, that was an easy victory, and I was very pleased to get it. Now I have a trio of blockbuster releases this weekend. 2 college conference games of the year on Saturday and an NFL total of the month on Sunday. All 3 for $29 with a guarantee. You go 3-0 or the rest of October, college and pro NFL are on the house. Plus, if you sign up right now, you'll get the bonus TV winner tonight. Just call 1-866-841-1655. That's 1-866-841-1655. $29, 3-0 guarantee.
Well, Jeff, LVSS, you got him on a roll. Look at this, 24 wins, 9 losses, and a push the last 5 Saturdays. That is some monster profits right there. And you got a huge special going on right now for just $49.
Right, 24-9-1 is 73%. In the last 2 weeks on Proline, I've advertised 6 big games. I won 5 of them. Last week I had the Pac-12 game of the month with Utah, Big Ten game of the month with Wisconsin. For the 4th week in a row, I won my blockbuster. That's the top rated play that I have. It was an easy winner with the Panthers. Then I topped off the weekend with a Sunday night win with the Cowboys and a Monday night win with the Chargers. So everything's going tremendous here at LVSS. Right now, you can get the rest of the NFL and college football season, including the bowl games, right through the Super Bowl for only $49. And that will include my college football shocker of the year going Saturday and a pair of NFL games of the month on Sunday. Just call LVSS at 1-866-575-8916. Once again, you get the rest of the NFL and college football through the bowl games. This week's college football shocker of the year and 2 NFL games of the month on Sunday, all for just $49. 1-866-575-8916.
I had my first conference game of the year this past Saturday. It was Wisconsin, big play as well as you had it as well, Jeff. It was a great spot for the Badgers and a terrible spot for Northwestern. That's what you look for, is situational spots where you're going to get probably a below the normal performance by one side or an above the normal performance by the other. And if you can find a game where there's both, it's time to really step out. I think there are a couple of games like that this weekend. I've got a pair of college conference games of the year going on Saturday. Make the call today. You're going to play with me through Monday for just $25. I'm going to include both conference games of the year, and I'm going to make a guarantee that you got to go 2-0 or the rest of October football. That's free. So take advantage of this $25 offer. 2 huge games, along with a lot of bonus action as well, and a great guarantee, all for $25 at 1-866-896-1629. That's 1-866-896-1629. Twitter question of the week. We got one from, and by the way, you can follow us on Twitter at Jim Feist Sports or at Facebook. Friend us there at Proline TV. This is from Brent Forsky. Waterbury, Connecticut. Can the Giants actually come back from the dead and win the NFC East? I will say no. I don't think they're a very good football team. They were 3-5 down the stretch last year. So, and that's continued this year. They stink. Okay, they got old in certain spots. Their depth is really thin. At others, they don't have to me, their running game. Come on, I mean Brandon Jacobs now. I know he played well last week, but no, I think this team's just going to keep on losing football games. I don't think they're going 0-16 or a 1-15. But what are they going to be? 4-12? That's not going to win the division. I don't care what division it is, Jim.
The biggest advantage the Giants have right now is the division they're playing in. The teams in this division are just not that good. I know Dallas is, everybody's talking about Dallas right now, but they have a lot of deficiencies in that team. But the problem, when you look at the Giants' schedule, they still have Seattle, Detroit, Green Bay, Dallas, San Diego, all to come. I mean, I don't believe they're going to go anywhere, but this division is very weak, and I don't think anybody in the division is going to go very far. I don't believe the Giants can even get into the playoffs. That's not going to happen.
No. Jeff, they're 20th against the pass and 26th against the run. This is no fluke. They're a bad football team.
Yeah, you consider that there's only been one team in history that started 0-4 that made the playoffs. 0-6 is pretty much as impossible. And as Jim said, they have their toughest schedule ahead of them. So it's not the Giants. They could be in the worst division ever, and it wouldn't make any difference. That they're better off right now just going 2-14 and getting a higher draft choice because their season is over, Dave.
Let's get to some free plays info. I got to plug my free play record. It's been unbelievable. It's one of the hottest stretches you'll ever have, and it's free. 28-7 the last 35 days, 11-1 the last 12, 15-1 in the last 16 in football. I haven't lost a college football free play the entire season. I'm 8-0. And these are free plays, folks. It's basically, if you're not getting these and you're betting, that's kind of dopey, all right? So make sure and get them. All you need to do is text COKIN, COKIN, to 313131, and you get back the day's free play in a text message. Whatever your text message rates are, that's what you're paying. And if you've got a package like I do, then it doesn't matter how many text messages you get or send, it's the same anyway. So text COKIN to 313131. Jim, you also give out a free play via text message every day.
I do, Dave, but I can't match your free play record. I have to admit that, nobody goes 1,000%, and you're damn close to that. Amazing. So I'm doing very well as well, but like I said, Dave is in the free play category. He is just absolutely the champion. If you like my free plays each and every day, right to your cell phone, text WINNER, WINNER, to 313131. Okay, let's get to some games. And we'll begin with the Cowboys and Eagles. Dallas gets back to 500. They're playing some pretty exciting football. They're not winning all these games, but they look pretty good. The Eagles, they're off a nice win at Tampa. So they've got a couple of wins in a row now. The record's respectable, Jeff. These look like the two teams that have the inside track in the NFC East right now. And so this is a big game.
It's a big game. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored. Cowboys have a lot of injuries. DeMarcus Ware probably won't play. DeMarco Murray's out. Jason Hatcher's been a lifesaver at playing at defensive tackle. Sunday night, the Redskins had 433 total offense yards. Dallas was bailed out by 2 turnovers and a punt return. The Eagles are just 8-19 against the spread at home last 4 seasons. They're last in defense, 31st in pass defense. Tony Romo is actually having a good season. That pick against the Broncos notwithstanding, but Romo's having a pretty good year. 14 TD passes, only 3 interceptions. Not sure if Vic or Michael Vick or Nick Foles are going to go with the Eagles yet, but Foles looked good against Tampa Bay. 22 at 31, 296 yards, no picks. The Eagles are only the 3rd team in NFL history to have 400 yards in each of the first 6 games. They've gone over 8 out of the last 9. The long-range weather forecast looks pretty good. I'm looking for the Cowboys and Eagles to go over the total, Dave.
Do the Eagles still have a home field advantage? This team's been horrendous at home. They can't win at home. They're 0-2 again this year. They played better on the road. They are off a pretty good performance, I thought, at Tampa. Came out with a good second half of that game. I thought, and I didn't lose much in pro football on Sunday, but I did take Tampa, so I lost that game. The Eagles were a big square side, and they managed to get there. The main thing, though, the one thing that you can count on with the Eagles, they're going to score points. 5 out of the 6 games have gone over the total. You mentioned that, Jeff. And to me, this is, you just keep doing the same thing until if it's not broke, don't fix it. And going over the total with this team, which was projected by a lot of people going into the season, play them over. It's working out really well. So the odds makers haven't caught up yet with the points that this team is likely to generate and give up because their defense isn't very good. I'll stay with the same strategy, Jim, just more of the same, over.
I don't think I could. There's no argument that I could put up to go against that. As far as do the Eagles have a home field advantage? You know, they've had a couple games under Chip Kelly, and they had a whole bunch of games that before Andy Reid left. And this team has been in disarray for a number of years. The quarterback issues and all the other things that are going on there, and pretty bad franchise for quite a while now. But they are turning it around. Chip Kelly has inspired them. They do have a little bit of a controversy at quarterback, Foles and Vic. The problem with Vic is, he's a different kind of quarterback. The problem with him is he gets hurt all the time. And again, he's hurt right now. So you can't depend on any quarterback making it through the year. It's a very physical game. But when you look at the two defenses, no matter where they're playing, these two defenses are bad. They're not good at all. You got to kind of throw out the Denver game. I mean, everybody looks bad against Denver, but this Cowboy team is not that strong on defense. Tony Romo's having a remarkable year. I think he's an extremely good quarterback that makes mistakes, but they all make mistakes. He just seems to make them at the most critical times, but they are doing very well. They're 3-3 on the season. This is a huge game in this division. I don't see any change in pattern. Chip Kelly is going to run the fast offense, whether it's Foles or Vic. They're going to move up and down the field. There's not going to be a lot of resistance from the Cowboys. And the Cowboys are going to do the same because they're going to have to match point for point. Even though it's a division game, and division games tend to be lower scoring, I kind of throw that out here, and I'm going to go with the over.
Let's look at the second game, and this is the big one on Sunday night. The Broncos and the Colts. Peyton Manning goes marching back into Indianapolis with what right now is the number 1 team in the league, the unbeaten Denver Broncos, 6-0. The Colts, well, they let one. They fell into that sandwich and got eaten up on Monday by the Chargers. Still a pretty good football team, though. I'm going to look at the total here as well. Look, nobody's stopped Denver so far, and Indianapolis still can't stop the run. This has been a big problem for them. It's the one area where they're still lacking. What I do think you'll see is a much better Colts offense than we saw against San Diego. They were just flat against the Chargers, dropping passes all over the place, and couldn't get in the end zone. They never got in the end zone. I don't know if they're going to score a ton of points against Denver, but I think they will get some. I think Monday was a bit of an aberration for that offense. 56 to me. You look at this, and I know it's a high number, but based on the number of plays that we're going to see in this football game, and I suspect the number of successful plays we're going to see in this football game, I don't think 56 is high enough. I think this game gets into the 60s, Jeff. I like the game over.
Yeah, I can't argue with that one either because these days 56, 57 is almost normal in the NFL, whereas 10, 15 years ago would be a really high number. You'd almost never see it. The Colts have covered 7 in a row as a home underdog, but I think I'm going to lean to the Broncos this game. The Broncos are last in the league in pass defense as far as total yards, but a lot of that has to do with the fact that opposing teams are always trying to catch up. Last week, the Broncos did not play well in that game against the Jaguars, but it was an unusual handicap situation where you had 3 things combined. You had a letdown, you had a look ahead, and you had a sandwich game all in one. You don't get that very often. That's why laying 28 points is probably not a very good idea. They're coming off the big game against the Cowboys. They have the Colts next week, and then they have the Jaguars in between. Von Miller's finally back. Champ Bailey's back. As we saw on Monday, Andrew Luck can be very impressive at times. But then again, he has these games where he he doesn't do so well. It happened against the Chargers, of course, and then earlier in the season against the Dolphins. So Denver's won 17 regular season games in a row, 13-4 against the spread. I'm going to take a slight lean on the Broncos here in this game, Jim.
Well, Jim, it's a good matchup. We know that.
I can't argue with anybody that says the Broncos under a touchdown, because they're so prolific on offense and it's hard to keep up with them. But this train is going to slow down too. And granted, Peyton Manning, he doesn't get hit much. The offensive line does a good job, even though it's rebuilt some. They're going to put up their points. The Colts have a pretty good defensive scheme. I think they'll slow them down a little bit, but not too much. I favor the over as well. I look for Andrew Luck to come home and put up a bigger show than he did on the road. Again, the Denver defense, even though they're getting Von Miller back, their defense is not that strong. We're going to have to see if some of these guys come back. It's going to make the difference everybody expects. So I look for a pretty high-scoring team. Both teams very capable to get to the 30-point level. I look for the game to go over as well. I would like to make a little bit of a prediction going forward. The rosters on NFL teams are set at the same number that they've been for many years. And what we have here is we got all these up-tempo teams running more plays than they ever have. The pace factor is very high. But that also increases the number of hits the quarterbacks get. And you're going to see a lot more quarterbacks going down, especially as we get wear down we're only in week 6. So we got 10 more weeks of regular season to go.
Yeah.
A lot of these teams are going to start to protect their quarterbacks by starting to run the ball more. So you get a team like Kansas City who does that. And you're going to see more and more of that, and you're going to see some of these totals come down because they can't afford to keep losing starting quarterbacks. There's 32 starting quarterback spots in the league. There aren't 32 great quarterbacks. I mean, there's a lot of these guys are very marginal. Now you get into second and third string, and like up in Buffalo, they're down to their fourth quarterback. So you're going to see a lot more conservatism as we go forward because these guys are getting hurt, and they're not going to be able to come back.
Let's get to the best bets, either from some we've talked about or from any game on the board. I'll take one we talked about, and, I'm kind of a believer in if you keep getting paid on something, you just go ahead and keep doing it. And that's this story with the over in the Eagles games. They really are living up to billing as far as that's concerned. And the totals were projected by a lot of people to go over, and the numbers haven't caught up yet. So Philly and Dallas to go over the total in their game. 2 big college conference games of the year, 1-0 so far with Wisconsin, and I've got 2 this weekend. Both have to win, or you get the rest of October free, and you're going to play with me through Monday for $25. You're going to get NFL stuff as well, but the key to this is those 2 conference games of the year with the guarantee, just $25 total, 1-866-896-1629. That's 1-866-896-1629. Jeff, more of the same 24-9-1 monster run in college football, and a huge special this weekend.
Yeah, and I've won 5 out of the last 6 big games I've advertised right here on this show. This week, you're going to get the rest of the NFL, rest of college football, all the bowl games through the Super Bowl for only $49. You're going to get my college football shocker of the year. I go Saturday, and 2 NFL games of the month on Sunday, all for a grand total of $49. Just call LVSS at 1-866-575-8916. By the way, my best bet on the show is also the Cowboys and Eagles over the total. Once again, get my college football shocker of the year, 2 NFL games of the month on Sunday, $49, and get the rest of the season. 1-866-575-8916.
And Jim, off the Monday night game of the year winner with the Chargers, great call on that. The NFL season for you has been absolutely sensational, basically from the very start. And you got 2 big college games going, plus an NFL total this weekend.
Well, let's start with what we got on the show as the best bet. We talked about 2 games. We all went over the total in both of them. So I'm gonna say my best bet is both those totals to go over the total. Maybe it's a best bet parlay. I mean, there's no argument I could make against either one of those plays, and I think would be very smart to consider that type of bet. I have a trio of blockbuster releases this weekend: 2 college conference games of the year on Saturday, plus and NFC total of the month on Sunday. All 3 games, $29, plus a guarantee. You go 3-0 for the rest of October. College and NFL games are on the house. Sign up early and you get a bonus tonight. That's right, a free bonus. Just call 1-866-841-1655. 3 big games plus a bonus, $29, 1-866-841-1655.
Good stuff, guys. And for those of you watching, don't forget, we've got a college edition of Proline as well, so make sure and check that out. A couple of huge games in the colleges, USC, Notre Dame, Florida State, Clemson. Those games are going to be discussed, so make sure and check it out. Meanwhile, for Jim and Jeff, I'm Dave Koken. Thanks a lot for watching. Get some winners this weekend, and we'll talk to you next week on Proline.